Charlie, thank you so much. Tara, thank you so much. I have enjoyed the great fortune to walk alongside and support the Ranger community for the past nearly 30 years. I know I don't look that old. I don't. You can all say it. Tell me later. It's always exciting when we can bring a group together, and 50% we know well, and 50% is going to be new friends, new comrades in the space, creating that reconnection. But it's not possible if we don't show up. It's not possible if we're not present. So thank you for being present tonight for this. This is a really big moment in time. I get the fun task of casting vision about the Ranger Legacy Foundation and tour you through the intentionality and strategy of our mission and passion of the Ranger Legacy Center. So let's set the stage for just a moment. For more than 80 years, Rangers have carried the weight of sacrifice and leadership. There is no tool to measure our Rangers' impact on the military. Words from Jeff. But I always say, the legacy of our Rangers is inseparable from the preservation of freedom. From the Normandy beaches to the desert sands, the first boots on the ground have always been our beloved Rangers. From Abrams' charter and Wickham's guidance through every subsequent charter, and I'm sure General George will not disappoint, I cannot imagine our Army now without the regiment. As I watch our Army leadership in action and I look out to see varying unit insignia capped by the coveted Ranger brand, I can't imagine a disciplined, thriving, lethal, confident, focused Army without the tab. Therefore, the Ranger Legacy Center and campus is going to stand as a landmark, honoring the extraordinary service of all Rangers while preserving the history with distinction. We vow to ensure that the Ranger legacy of battle-tested, proven leadership principles will endure for generations. Our intention is not to build a museum you visit. Our intention is to create a home you return to. This center will serve and act as connective tissue for the Ranger community, an environment intentionally designed for connection, reflection, growth, and personal development. At its heart will stand the prestigious Ranger Hall of Fame, permanently and proudly showcased. The center will embody 4 key pillars. 1, a sanctuary of honor. 2, a living archive. 3, a home for the community. And 4, a beacon for the nation. Our design and desire is to be a center that is more than walls and exhibits, but a living space for connection, purpose, and renewal. A space that showcases that a Ranger's identity does not stop when he takes off the uniform. Historically, communities build museums for one purpose and community centers for another purpose. We are saying, let's have vision, let's merge the two into one better concept, and let's provide a proof of concept, once again, leading the way for others to follow. Our mission is clear: to preserve the heart and soul of what it means to be a Ranger and to ensure that legacy endures. The idea is to utilize all available space, indoor and outdoor, to communicate the Ranger legacy, to have a place to convene in intimate or large-scale activities, and to provide a place our community does not want to just visit, but where we want to return to, or better yet, where we want to stay. Through my involvement over the past 30 years with activities like the Best Ranger Competition, Ranger Hall of Fame, Ranger Rendezvous, Black and Tan, Mogadishu Mile, Run Ranger Run, countless cookouts and activities, I have observed this. These activities serve as a time to breathe blue. That's what you call it, right? What I witness is it's a time to re-glue, like Kitsagari. I see tension drain. I see exhales and peace when you stand within your history, side by side with family, friends, and cross-generational community, all celebrating your values and your legacy. Therefore, the Ranger Legacy Center will provide space and opportunity for benevolent organizations like several that are in the room and companies serving this committee or community that wants to come together and serve the community in a meaningful way to showcase and have a home. And much like a presidential library, we will be a non-lending archive containing the records, artifacts, and historic materials of our Ranger history. We're dedicated to preserving the history of our Rangers for public study and display, making everything accessible to researchers, students, Rangers, family members, and the public. We'll use this traditional archiving and through modern technology, and our intent is not to be huge. Don't think of it as huge. We want to be quite quaint. You know, if you're too huge, it doesn't feel like home. We want it to feel like home. A real brief story, when I started working in the Ranger community, this was back in 1999 or 2000. I worked out of the RTB, it wasn't airborne at the time, wasn't called Airborne and Ranger Training Brigade at the time, Ranger Training Brigade. And I would work out of the S5 shops, the same S5 shop today, same cinder block walls, right? Can you believe this 20-year-old woman had a desk in the S5 shop, right? And would actually pick up the phone and be like, Brigade S5, how can I help you? It happened, right? But the beauty of the story is that we had a couple desks in there. I kind of set up a shop, but we brought in couches and coffee tables. Everybody that walked into that building for years, every single person that walked into the building came by. We had a coffee pot right outside the door. They would pick up a cup of coffee, and where do you think they landed? On the couches in the S5 shop. So that's where I got a lot of my history. And some of your scroll bearers, you think, well, that's the ARTB. Everybody came in there. There were Sergeant Major Klein, Sergeant Major Pippin, Bill Block. Everybody came in that shop for one reason or another. That's where we did business. So from an inspiration standpoint, to me that was just, it developed something in me, and I witnessed all of these things from the confines of those walls. What I want to do is help create a place where people want to come get a cup of coffee and sit down and talk. And that it can't be a too big of a space. Our vision started in 2022, initial design took root in 2023, and tonight we're revealing our evolution of design. But first, 2 weeks ago, we suffered a tragic loss of mutual friend, Charlie Company, 3rd Ranger Battalion friend. As the social media archives were filling up with shared stories of a beautiful life, the most amazing smile and spirit, one comrade wrote this. He said, I don't know what the answer is. We all say to check on each other, and damn it, we do. But something's missing. When we're struggling, we isolate and we push each other away to lick our wounds. It's time to be brutally honest with ourselves and with each other. True connection and relationship is hard. Vulnerability is hard. Honesty with oneself is hard. But damn it, we do hard things. We have to do it 100% and then some. This was his words, not mine. But it hit me so deeply. And making that correlation to the Ranger Legacy Center is our way of creating those connection opportunities, both virtual and in person. When we're thinking about this, we know we have battalions, one up in Washington, we've got one on, that's not going to be right where this location is. So strategically, we've got to draw, and we've got to bring all of that together. But we want to create a place where you can connect to purpose in each other all of the time. Not one time out of the year to come read Blue and watch the Best Ranger competition. We want you to come watch the Best Ranger competition. We'll do an advertisement. But that shouldn't be the only time, that we get to feel that. We have an obligation to take care of our own. That's on us in this room. When you go out and you talk to people, this is what our obligation is. There is, in fact, the Ranger Legacy Center is already kind of creating some impetus in the community. We had a program, a Ranger AA program that has started virtually because they were inspired by what we were doing. And he said, I can do this now. I don't have to wait for the center to be built, so I'm just going to go do it. The elements that we desired to include in what you're about to see is we wanted a library, meeting spaces, large and small, the Ranger Hall of Fame, archival storytelling from the frontier through modern era, representation of all iconic aspects of the Ranger community, space for outdoor and indoor entertainment, reverence for our fallen, recognition to the Gold Star families, overnight accommodations, and a plethora of connection points. This is where we want you to have weddings and repasses, celebrations, unit functions, and more, whatever you can think of. We want you to do it here. We want you to stop in and have a cup of coffee, but not just for you. We want other patriots to join us as well. There's no reason why we can't share the spirit with everybody else. I have 100% and then some tattooed on my arm because of the difference that you've made in my life and what that creed means to me. We can do this thousands of times over to inspire people. In order to accommodate these desires, you won't see a whole lot of tall ceilings in what I'm about ready to reveal to you. We'll utilize outdoor spaces. That's the way it should be, right? That's how we should be telling the Ranger stories, utilizing outdoor spaces. And the creed is going to be at the epicenter of everything. And I think this is a really exciting review. So it's going to be the heart of our facility as well. This will be a project rolled out in phases and built with revenue generation in mind from the very beginning. And tonight, now, you are among the first to see the next concept of design renderings. And Dan, I'm not going to ask you to speak. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but would you come up here with me? Dan is leading our campus building design. We've thrown it all under there. He has stepped up to the plate and he has said, let me jump in this foxhole with you. And let me tell you, there isn't a whole lot of people stepping up to say, let me just jump in the foxhole with you. So I just thank you so much for everything that you do. And we've been working really hard. So what you see here, don't go anywhere. We have hired this group here that you're seeing, SLAM Collaborative. We went through an RFP process. Many of you know what that is and what that entails. We received several proposals. We interviewed everybody that submitted a proposal, and when I say we, our committee, and SLAM by far stood out from the others. They're an architect, design, and planning company. They have a ton of varied experience, and they're currently working on a major project now with the University of North Georgia, which is kind of cool. With all of their experience, they're telling us that we are one of the most engaged groups they have ever worked with. I think that's good, right? Like, we have lots of opinions, and when they come with something, we're like, completely missed the mark here. Like, we got to go back and redo this. So what you're seeing here, this is our existing site. We've not settled on a piece of property yet. We're getting closer and closer. We're still exploring options. However, this piece of property is a front runner, so we asked the architects to design to this landscape. This sits on the corner of Highway 26 and Highway 27 to acclimate you if you're going to Ranger Burger. You're making the turn to go to Ranger Burger, it sits right there on the corner. It's directly outside of Fort Benning, so I'm going to show you, maybe here, maybe not. Nah, I'm not going to touch it because I'll mess it up. But right at the top of the screen on the north end where the arrow is pointing up, that's Fort Benning property there. And we've got 24 acres of privately owned property and 16 acres of county owned property right there. I had originally identified the 24 acres, but we didn't feel like that was enough, and And it just so happened the county had 16 acres sitting right there because we said that we thought that we wanted 40 acres. Now we're not working with a civil engineer yet, so we haven't gone in and we haven't dug in the ground. So even if we said this is our piece of property that we want to go forward with, we don't know if it's feasible yet. So I just want to be really, really honest with you. This is the front runner. This is what we're designing the specs to, but this is where we are. Some perks of this property, though, if you see cutting right down the middle of the land are railroad tracks. What's cool is in the development process right now is they're converting these defunct railroad tracks into hiking, walking, and biking trails that is going to connect into Fort Benning and beyond. So if we chose this property, what does that do? That creates a destination spot right in the middle of our property, or a spot to embark from, to connect onto Fort Benning and into the Chattahoochee County area. So really cool opportunities here. What you're seeing here is a site plan. We wanted to utilize the entire 40 acres that we had in front of us. Core elements that you're going to see in the packet that you have, we have a main building, a pond, amphitheater, gardens of remembrance, and of the future. A 2-acre field is what you see down here that's classified as M, and overnight accommodations. Now on the western side of the property, we've got high erosion. We know that because we went out and stepped on the land and we said, whoa, there's a lot of erosion over here. So we've got to take that into mind. That's kind of where you see that body of water sitting. And we also know that we would have some extreme road noise from semis going up and down the road. So we needed some buffer from the overnight accommodations. We also know that hardwoods pick up as you move east on the property. I talked to you about the railroad property. The red line that's cutting through the property is a datum. I found this really interesting. I think the architects did a really great job in that and how they viewed the property. And they said, hey, the highest point right at the center is where we would have, I'm going to show you in a little bit, the Ranger Creed. So that line cuts through, and then they show how we connect to Savannah, going to the east, and then how we connect to Fort Lewis, going to the west, and also to the jump towers on Fort Benning. So some really great visuals in how this property kind of connects it all together, just as a reference point. What you see here is a site aerial. It's just another view to put skin on it for you. What you see is our observation tower coming into play, and you start to see the partner pods over there on the right-hand side of the street starting to pop up in the design. Now the floor plan, spend a little time describing this. Creed Plaza is kind of what we've identified it, is the central element. The Ranger Creed sits right in the middle. So we're talking about it being the heart. This is the heart of everything. That Creed will be in the center. Everything is designed to be circular in nature, indicating unity, wholeness, and community due to the continuous flow. To the west, at our entry, rests the Garden of Remembrance with a water feature to be used as a place of reflection and healing while evoking feelings of calmness. Missing from this area is Heroes Hall. They've got it indicated more to the east. We'll be playing with that. But the Gold Star Committee, what they want to do is curate that to represent like a ready room, and for it to be immersive as a ready room experience. Also to the west are representation of food trucks, and we don't intend to be a food and service provider, but support those businesses who are to be able to come into the space. Also to the west is the observation tower. It's not real clear on here. That would be cross-functional, potentially as a rappelling tower for demonstrations. I mean, are you really a ranger if you don't demonstrate off of a tower? We'll do something cool with it. Inside the plaza is an amphitheater for small concerts, events, 200 or so, sitting 200. Imagine for a minute, Sergeant Major Pippin coming to town and talking with a group of young huas or Boy Scouts or students from the local school. Additionally, in this area is a rampart garden with flags, and notice fire pits throughout. symbolizing energy, passion, and transformation, our Ranger TV, right? That's got to be everywhere. Heading east is our Tree of Life, currently envisioned to be a tree sculpture of dog tags, and surrounding it a place to honor all those that we've lost who do not fit into the Gold Star or killed in training designation. We still feel like it's important that everybody is represented on property. Imagine old hooches from the mountain camp and partner pod offices, the main building that will be technologically advanced and host admin space, large functional boardroom, and small meeting spaces. A cross-functional banquet hall that holds the Ranger Hall of Fame and other mobile display units, a built-in stage, the ability to subdivide the room into medium-sized rooms, and then off the back a Gold Star Terrace. The west side of the building would be our library and our service corridor with kitchen space, storage, laundry, because they're overnight accommodations, restrooms, and a gift shop with Exodus. I hope that when you see this, your mind, because you're all so business minded, right? Your mind's just like pinging, like looking at opportunity after opportunity for things to kind of fit into the mold of this facility. Okay, here we're looking at a rendering of site entry. We want this place to feel, it's got to be different. It's got to feel like Ranger. We want it to be a destination location, a place you spend the day, not an hour. You know, we want you to come out and spend the day. So ideally, you would enter the property through the tree line, and the center becomes a hidden gem. This is a rendering of the entry at dusk. To the left, our wall for the fallen, reflection opportunities. You see a water feature near the back, observation tower on the horizon, and traffic ramp to the main building. Creed Plaza at dusk is what you're looking at here. We put some skin on Creed Plaza for you. Datum references to our varying geographic locations. You see that point to 2nd Ranger Battalion, light gardens, fire pits, and entry to the main building. Here is a Ranger living room. Now you guys are probably think this is funny, but I told you that story, right? That story about being at brigade and having the coffee tables. This is a driving force in our living room. Will be on 2 opposite ends of the building, both ends of the hallway. One is situated near the administrative complex, making it easy to engage with the team, and the other situated near the gift shop. The intent is to create places that people want to come in, rest, visit, work. This is better than going to Starbucks, right? Here, fire and earth elements are brought inside. You'll notice wood ceilings, mason. Yep, we don't see the masonry on the columns yet, but that will probably be a design change for us. And the careful choices of color. Large drop lights to enhance closeness and cohesion, because we had to elevate the roof a little bit in order to get that Rangers lead the way in. And then we'll continue to refine this vision. This isn't going to be the final product. This vision is going to continue to iterate. I hope that it'll be something close, but we'll continue to refine it. Here you're seeing the opposite end of the hallway. No, we can change. We want to be mobile displays, change out displays. Think of the time of the year. D-Day's coming around, or we just had Battle of Mogadishu. We can bring in, so it's not always the same thing. Let's change them out, be mobile. We were just called the other day from a family of Ranger Robert Edlin, who helped force the surrender of over 800 German soldiers in 1944. They have several items, the family has several items that they want to donate, like a Nazi flag that was surrendered at that time. Well, what do you think I said? Yeah, we want it. Don't put it anywhere. We want that with us. Imagine collaboration with the Infantry Museum. Reflecting back and saying, hey, go over there and see this, and hopefully, the same would be awarded. Imagine collaboration with Darby's Home in Arkansas. Are you guys familiar with Darby's Home in Arkansas? Yeah, we'd be able to point you there and say, hey, you need to go. It's like a chain of pearls. You need to go visit all these different places. And imagine Best Ranger competition activities happening out on the facility. Imagine collaboration with organizations like the Sniper Association. We could do, I want to have a sniper presence there and talk about Ranger snipers. On the back wall, there's a timeline connecting all of it together. We'll have interactive opportunities, screens, technology, and Intergage. And while having vision to what's happening outside, at the same time, to connecting those two worlds together, the inside and outside. Here's the meeting hall that's got the indication of the Ranger Hall of Fame in it. We're taking a sneak peek in there. General Keene just picked up General Kernan's Ranger Hall of Fame medallion at his funeral services last week. And he texted me to say, Candace, I went ahead and secured his medallion for you and for the Ranger Legacy Center. And I just thought that was really special because it'll be here when you're ready. This is an indication, this is in your packet too, of opportunities that exist in this facility. Things like, for revenue generation purposes, the significance of water, the tree of life, the rampart flags, the various different gardens, various different things that we can do. In your book, if you scan this QR code, and you can all do it now, if you scan the QR code, what it will do is this will take you to a 360 view engagement opportunity, like you're standing in the hallway. So from a rendering perspective, if you scan that, it's like you're standing in the hallway. You can do a 360 view of what that entails. Okay, so where are we now? These concept renderings are narrowing our vision into a complete site development plan. Additionally, they're providing us, the architects are providing us a re-estimation on what our full campaign will need to be to accomplish the mission. We have committees actively working. Some of our fearless leaders are in the room, like Dan, Tara, thank you, disappeared, who's going to be working out the details of curation and design and we're working on how to build the team. So thank you guys for all your efforts. What our next steps are to decide on the lands. Like, we can't do much else if we don't know where we're going to plant it. We need to refine the vision and add in details and finalize our campaign to raise the money needed. So over the next couple months, that's what we're going to be doing. Make no mistake. Don't leave here tonight and tell people, if this happens. Make no mistake, we are locked on target. If you're locked on target, there is no other choice than completing the mission. So, the only way to do that is with fearless leaders and dogged determination to make it happen. So I want to thank Bill and Jeff, who are leading our board, and that board is going to be growing to lead us down into the next iteration of where we need to go. So this is our call to action for tonight. We have connected with stakeholders. We've convened stakeholders to lend strategy and experience. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to refine our vision, but vision remains only a dream without champions to make it real, right? So your support can turn these renderings into a place where history, honor, and community converge. A place where Rangers, their families, and patriots gather to reflect and be inspired. This is how we actively participate in molding generations to come. So stand with us, please. Be a part of preserving the heart, spirit, and legacy of Rangers, of you. Together, we can create a destination that honors your sacrifice and inspires the next generation. Make a mark on part of your legacy and art history here. Talk with us on how to participate in bringing the Ranger Legacy Center to life. That can look 1,000 different ways over. You know, a lot of times everybody skips, so it's got to mean something money, so I'm going to go ahead and duck out now. Yes, we need a lot of money, but there's so much more. We need connections. We need people willing to say, I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with you, and help and open those doors that we're going to need opened. We have I mentioned the board members and committee leaders. Take time, a few minutes, to ask them questions tonight as you're getting another drink and before you leave. take time to look at the renderings. I'll turn those around in the back. Take a look at them. You've got them in your packets. Fill out a pledge card and let us know if you want to be a part of this. There's an information card and a pledge card. We'd love to have your pledges, but even if you just want more information, hey, I want to schedule an hour with you to learn more and understand more clearly about what you're doing. And strongly consider making a commitment to our Camo Jacket Society. So that's what you see here. So I just wanted to leave you with what we're doing with the Camo Jacket Society is we have 200, not 200 anymore, but overall 200 opportunities to be plank owners in this facility. What that does is that generates $1 million for us. What that $1 million does is when we go in and we talk with philanthropists and we talk with companies and senior leaders, that we're able to sit down at the table and they're going to ask, what is the community's investment in this? That's significant. And we're going to be able to say, well, we've got this Camo Jacket Society, and look at all the folks that are a part of it. And this is our commitment. We're standing shoulder to shoulder in this. So thank you for being here. I'm so excited to finally reveal. I feel like we've slammed a lot of work into the last couple of months to be able to say, this is where we're at, and we're inviting you into this. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here tonight. And I look forward to answering all your questions offline.